trust is an even more important factor. I mean, you're representing people. You are their representatives. I mean, if you're a United States senator, you're one of only two people representing your entire state. My God, the trust issue has to be monumentally important, right? So now we go to the curious case of Rand Paul, senator from Kentucky. Now, he has a medical degree from Duke University, as far as you know, and he was studying English and biology at Baylor University. Here's the only problem. He pulled a John Idarola and never finished. Did that joke just for Jimmy Dore. All right, anyway. So the problem is, he has said on many occasions that he did finish and that he has those degrees.
Car, jet boat, motorcycle.
So, for example, he was talking to Lincoln Labs Reboot Congress, okay, and they were asking him about economic issues. This guy interviewing him is Michael Arrington, and he says, let's talk about economics, because maybe you can actually explain this to me. I have an econ degree, which means I know just enough not to understand any of our government, and the rest is inaudible. And then Rand Paul comes in, he says, mine's in biology and English, so this is going to be a great conversation. Oh, you have degrees in biology and English, do you, Rand Paul? And it's not the only time. And another time he was talking about Bitcoin, and he said, this is just me. I have a biology degree, okay? Well, apparently not okay. But with Bitcoin, my concern always was whether or not something has real value. So he talked about his biology and English degrees on many occasions. Now, I just told you he doesn't have those degrees, but you're going to say, oh, you lib. I don't trust you. You're probably lying about our good Senator Rand Paul. After all, he does have a medical degree from Duke University, so I don't know how in the world he got that without graduating from Baylor. I don't know. Maybe these guys play by different rules, right? But apparently he does have that Duke degree. So, but I'm probably making this. Now, you'll be disappointed to find out a spokesman for the senator subsequently clarified that he does not, in fact, hold degrees in English and biology as he quit. So that's it. Rand Paul's over, right? I mean, all the conservatives who hate Brian Williams, by the way, a lot of people are upset at Brian Williams. Liberals are, conservatives are upset. I just bring him up because it's an interesting contrast, right? So, especially the conservatives, oh, Brian Williams, a liar! Liar! It's the worst thing you could possibly do, you liar! Okay, Rand Paul's a liar. That's it. Eliminated, right? You don't want to support him. My guess is you're going to find an excuse. Okay, now, look, if you're asking me my opinion, and if you're watching this, kind of by definition, you're asking my opinion. Okay, yes, I don't care. I don't care at all. I don't know why he didn't graduate. I don't know why Duke accepted him, even though he didn't graduate. I'm glad that Duke has amped up their standards a little bit since that. Okay, that you actually have to finish college before you can go out of medical school. But is it really material? Does it matter that he didn't finish? To me, it doesn't matter at all. And he fibbed on it a couple of times. He's a politician. Probably the smallest lie he's told, right? So I don't care much. But just be consistent on it. I also said, like, oh, Brian Williams, he exaggerated, he lied, whatever. All the guys in news lies. They're much, much bigger lies, right? So I think I'm consistent on it. So just don't freak out over one thing and then pretend the other didn't happen. Okay, JR?
Yeah, I mean, there's another thing, too. Say he did get those degrees, those undergrad degrees. Oh, was it English and biology?
Yeah.
Mine was in, some of you remember now, it was English and history, right?
Mm-hmm.
I took a Chinese history class. I can't tell you anything about what I learned in that class. It was one of my favorite classes in all of undergrad.
All right, so here's a quick quiz, pop quiz. As my German teacher used to say, quickie quiz, what could be simpler? Mm-hmm. All right, did the Chinese at some point build a wall?
The small one. So,
you didn't even remember that? It's a giant one.
Kind of doubled as a fence, I think.
USC education wins.
No, so in that, it doesn't. This goes to who cares, because he's a senator now. So I don't care if he got his degrees in biology and English for whatever conversation he was about to brag about. Who cares? If you got it, you don't remember anything you learned anyway. Fuck. Who cares? People put all this emphasis on, well, I have a degree in this. Unless you actually, you're a scientist and you had your degree in again, chemistry, and you're doing chemistry stuff every day. Yeah, it makes some sense because you're studying it, you're doing stuff, you're advancing it, you're hypothesizing. Who cares? Okay, I have to say two great things. Well, number one, the one degree you should definitely finish is engineering, because you can't half build a bridge. Okay, so that's where it really matters, right? English, you studied 3 years, you would have read a couple more books. It's fine.
English majors out there. Sorry. Okay, by the way, it also applies to me. I studied political science and entrepreneurial management. Those were my concentrations at Fort Lauderdale. Okay. So, political science, I would have studied a little bit more politics. Entrepreneurial management, I would have learned how to start my own business a little better. Which, come to think of it, could have been useful.
But again, would you have remembered all that? I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm in the minority, dude. I am, but maybe I'm in the minority, and like, big deal. I mean, I don't think you take everything in, and then everything you learn throughout all of undergrad, you apply to everything in your world, and because of that, it's the reason why you made any success yourself. It's not.
Yeah, no. So that was very important. Number two. First of all, from the business class I attended, I remember at most 7 things, and I'm being really generous, right? The one class I took that was great was I had an entrepreneurial management visiting professor who wasn't a professor, who was actually ran his own business. And he taught us how to raise money. He taught us, but there's no magic to it. He said, go ask your dad. yeah. He's like, he was been robbing. He's like, no, but he was a realistic robber. He's like, look, you got to go get it from family and friends. Was a bank going to give you money? You're a fucking kid. They're not going to give you anything. I love that guy. Anyway, but it's the details of accounting and which side of the ledger you put the thing in. Okay, somebody check our books. Anyway, so final story on this. So I took a graduate level class in in Hindu philosophy. Okay, and I stumbled into it. I didn't realize it was graduate level, and then I got there and it's all these graduate students. I was like, oh no, what have I done? Right? And at the end, you're supposed to do a verbal oral presentation. I was like, I'm right back in this thing. Okay. And so, God, they studied their ass off to other graduate students, these huge presentations, and here's my presentation at the end. I said, all right, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to remember from this class 20 years from now. First of all, the answer is not much. I'm not kidding. And then I said, look, I'm not going to remember the details of the Upanishads and the Vedas and, at what point in the Upanishads they said this and that came about, right? And I was right. I don't remember any of it, right? But here's what I learned from the class and here's what I'll take away. And I did my half an hour of BS rambling on that. Oh, my teacher loved it. And all the other graduate students hated me. They're like, we put in all this work. They they had like 50 pages written out for their oral presentation. Here's what I had written out for my oral presentation. Nothing, okay? And we had a German teacher, and he's like, das war das. Oh, Cenk, I like what you said. Schlupen das Vitamin. And then later we had Kartoffelsalat. Everything was fine. So, yes, Jeremy, that's my long way of saying we all don't remember very much. So I'm pardoning Rand Paul. Just be consistent about it. Okay, that went to places I didn't expect. Okay. All right, let's move forward. Let's go to Hillary. Or more accurately, Fox News' coverage of Hillary. All right, so this is super fun. The RNC decides they're going to write a memo about, hey, where's Hillary Clinton? Now, she's not in office right now. Technically, she's not running for anything right now. So, presumably, she's in her backyard. Who cares where she is, right? She's not Secretary of State anymore. She has no official position. She has no obligation to be in, right? But the RNC memo said, quote, Hillary's hiding. That was the headline of the memo, okay? And they instructed in the memo to all like-minded people, keep asking, where's Hillary? Now, remember, this is the Republican National Committee, so this is going after Republicans, right? So they're telling the Republican legislators this is how they get their talking points. Okay, keep asking where Hillary Clinton is. Okay, interesting. And they also instructed, and this is summarized by Media Matters for America, that to focus on the number of days since Clinton's last press conference and interview. Okay? So that's what they're supposed to focus on. Now, we understand if Republican politicians take those talking points and then put them out there. That's what they're doing. They're instructed by their national committee. Now, what if a news organization were to take the same exact RNC memo, copy it almost word for word, and put it on the air? Well, let's find out if anybody did that.
So where in the world is Hillary Clinton? It's been 204 days since her last press conference and 186 days since her last interview. 2016 Republican hopefuls are already hard at work campaigning, but it appears said the Democratic frontrunner is in hiding. So is she hurting her chances with this kind of strategy? Joining us for a fair and balanced debate on it is Daniel Harper. How strategic is this that Hillary seems to be in hiding? That's a chunk of days that she's not entering the game. Jimmy, what's the explanation behind it?
So we have a graphic that says Hillary in hiding, kind of exactly what the RNC told them to do. Elizabeth Hasselbeck mentions several times that Hillary is in hiding. And then my favorite part is, well, let's take a fair and balanced look at this. Oh, I see you copied the RNC memo almost word for word. Now let's take a fair and balanced look at it. And of course, Fox News is not alone. Other right-wing outlets have also talked about how Hillary Clinton was hiding and started counting the number of days she hasn't done a press conference. Drudge Report, watching a free beacon, Weekly Standard, and Rush Limbaugh. So this is how the Republicans operate. This is how conservative media operates. They are not independent. Conservative media views their job as being complete and utter propaganda for the Republican Party. So just know what you're dealing with. The idea that Fox News is a news organization is a hilarious joke. Young Turks. God. Lottery gate. Oh. All right, back on the Young Turk. All right, we've got a fun story for you guys here. Honestly, this is probably a story I shouldn't do, but we're having a little bit of fun. So Rick Perry was talking about President Obama and how he's got to go, and the country's had enough. And he said the country. Oh, did he state it that way? Well, he probably misspoke. But, I'm going to clean it up for Rick Perry, okay? So, Rick Perry said, the country is ready to move past 8 years of this young, very attractive, amazing orator. Junior said it. First of all, he's president of the United States this second term. I don't know why you're still calling him Junior. Second of all, what do you want him to do, Orly? Okay. Now, I'm a bad man. I know that Rick Perry is against gay Americans. I know that because when he was running for president last time around, he ran ads telling us how he was against gay rights. Curiously, in a jacket borrowed from the set of Brokeback Mountain. What?
I'm not ashamed to admit that I'm a Christian. But you don't need to be in the pew every Sunday to know that there's something wrong in this country when gays can serve openly in the military, but our kids can't openly celebrate Christmas, pray in school. As president, I'll end Obama's war on religion, and I'll fight against liberal attacks on our religious heritage. Faith made America strong. It can make her strong again. I'm Rick Perry, and I approve this message.
I'm Rick Perry, and I think Barack Obama is very attractive. Dude, he said 8 years of this young, very attractive, amazing orator, junior U.S. Senator. Fascinating, fascinating. I'm not saying anything. I haven't said a word. Did I say anything, Jared? Did I say anything? I didn't say it. Okay. There's one thing I know, and that is Rick Perry against gay Americans' rights. Doesn't want gay marriage. Just a little flirting. That's all. I still haven't said anything, have I? Yeah, I'm a bad. All right, we move forward. Let's go on to real estate. Okay. Fun for everybody. All right. Koch brothers are all over the country, including Tennessee, and they're trying to intimidate people into to making sure that they don't use the things that are available under the Affordable Care Act. Now, especially in Republican-controlled states. Well, in Tennessee, we have a very popular governor, Bill Haslam, who's a Republican. Got easily reelected, and he's got a lot of power now in the state, and he's got Republican legislature to work with. So he decided, hey, listen, you know what I'm going to do? I am going to expand Medicaid, but I'm going to do it under a conservative ideology. So let's go to our explanation from NBC News. Tennessee would accept more than $1 billion in federal funding to expand Medicaid as allowed for in the Affordable Care Act. But Obama aides would allow Haslam to essentially write staunchly conservative ideas into the program's rules for the state. He dubbed the reform Medicaid program Insure Tennessee. So what Haslam's doing is he's kind of rewriting the law, but the Obama administration is letting him because they want some experimentation. That's also built into the law, right? And you want to try a conservative approach, but you're still giving people more insurance? Great, we're going to give you $1 billion for the state of Tennessee. Now, which governor in their right mind isn't going to take $1 billion, especially when it's under their rules, and they get to set how this program works? So Haslam logically decided he's going to go in that direction, and he actually had a lot of Republican support to push it through his legislature, until the Koch lords came into town. And Charles and David Koch sent their group, Americans for Prosperity, to make sure the good people of Tennessee remain uninsured. You will not take that federal money. You will not help the citizens of Tennessee. And if you do, there's going to be consequences. So, more explanation from NBC News. AFP, that's Americans for Prosperity, campaigned aggressively against Haslam's plans for the next 6 weeks, even running radio ads blasting GOP state legislators who said they might vote for him. And guess what happened? All of a sudden, you've got all that money coming in. This is where money in politics is a huge problem, right? And it runs against Republicans. The Republican legislators, they get scared. They go, oh my God, this guy's saying I'm like Obama. He's going to mislead people into thinking that these really conservative Republicans in Tennessee are on Obama's side. So they pull away, and all of a sudden Haslam doesn't have enough support, and poof, the plan goes away. So this is how the Koch brothers fight. You think they're just fighting Democrats? No. It doesn't matter if you're a Republican, you're a really conservative Republican. If you don't do exactly as you're commanded by the Koch brothers, you're going to have trouble on your hands. And they will spend a lot of money against you. And if you stand in their way, they will steamroll you, and they'll make sure that you lose, and a Koch robot replaces you, even if you're a Republican. So in Tennessee, it worked. In other places, it's worked as well. Unfortunately, they went to Wyoming and did a very similar strategy. Now, here's where they ran into trouble. When they went to Montana. Ooh, I love this part of the story. Okay, so they're doing the same exact trick. Montana is considering expanding Medicaid, but under their own rules. And a couple of the Republicans in the state are considering it. They haven't even voted. State Representative Frank Garner is among them, and others like State Representatives Jeff Wellborn and Tom Berry are saying, hey, we're going to think about it. So here come the Koch brothers, and they say, how dare you? You're not allowed to do that, okay? And we will crush you. All of a sudden, they call a town meeting in Frank Garner's district. Now that's 8 hours from the state capitol. They don't even tell Frank Garner. They said, what the hell's going on? So he drives 8 hours to get to the meeting, right? He says, no, you're not going to do this on my watch. So let me explain it from the top. The Koch-sponsored group is blanketing their House districts with mailers that show each lawmaker's face superimposed over a photograph of President Barack Obama. Same exact trick. They're saying, Frank Garner, or is he really President Obama? Guy's a conservative Republican from Montana, right? No, not good enough if you're not a Koch robot. Okay. But that's not how Frank Garner rolls, and that's not how Montana rolls. So Frank Garner responded this way. If the purpose is to make sure legislators know, then why am I the only one here, he asked in the town hall. And why didn't I get an invite? I promised the people here when I ran that I would listen to you and not out-of-town special interests. So he's saying, wait a minute, what are you doing calling town hall in my district? Why didn't you invite me? And if you really care to discuss these issues, why didn't you invite any of the legislators? What you wanted to do instead was propaganda, right? So look, I'm telling you, the Wolfpack, of course, is to get money out of politics, right? Wolf-pack.com. And we told you, we're not just going to be in blue states, we're in red states. In fact, we're in red states right now. We're fighting in Virginia, New Hampshire, and Montana. And people say, oh, no, you can't win in a red state. Why? You think Republicans in places like Montana like to have the Koch brothers come in and buy their state legislature? They don't like it. You think Frank Gardner likes it? And I don't want to speak for Frank Gardner on what he believes on the issue of getting money out of politics. But I do know that there are a ton of Republicans all across the country, and that's why we're doing well in red states, who say, I don't want the Koch brothers buying me off. I don't want them replacing me with a Koch robot, and not on my watch. I love these Republicans. We might disagree on everything else, but the fact that they're fighting back against these guys and not letting money corrupt politics is something I can definitely get behind. Now, here's more great details. So, the local paper, Flathead Beacon, says Garner's mere presence had a chilling effect on the Americans for Prosperity presentation, which was frequently derailed by laughter, booing, and shouting from audience members who overwhelmingly expressed support for Garner. From audience members who overwhelmingly expressed support for Garner, saying that you can't corrupt our politicians by donating money to their campaigns, right? So they're not having any of this either. In fact, I want to quote a couple of the voters here. Nathan Kostin says, why did you call this a town hall meeting? I didn't get an invite. I wish I'd been invited because I want to know how we get the Koch brothers out of politics. I want to know how we get you out of politics. I love these guys. It's a Republican rebellion in Montana against the Koch brothers. Here's another vote. He said, you have pissed me off. Character assassination does not go down well in Montana. If he has to take a pledge, then I want it to be a pledge of allegiance because they don't represent you. They represent me. Damn. I love that, man. So because the Koch brothers come in with Americans for Prosperity and they say, you need to take a pledge to never increase Medicaid, never agree with Obama on anything. And Frank Garner's saying, hey, can I just use my own mind for a second? Is it okay if I don't let you borrow my mind here? Is it okay if I don't let you brainwash me? I'll take whatever goddamn pledge I like and won't take what I don't like. And I'll use my own mind and my own judgment because I'm my own man. And I'm representing these good folks in Montana and not you, right? And his voters agree with me. So I love this uprising. Finally, we come back to Frank Gardner. Here's what he says. If every time they want me to sign a pledge card and I don't do it, they're going to rent a room and have a meeting, then this is going to get real expensive because I'm not signing the pledge card. Regulate, son. Regulate. It's hard not to like the Republicans of Montana. Again, we can disagree on everything else, but the most important thing is representatives that actually represent us. So good folks in Montana are conservative, great. Then have conservative representatives. But what we can't have is representatives that actually represent the Koch brothers, that represent the incredible outside money coming into your politics, trying to control what you do in your own state. So it doesn't matter if you're a liberal or conservative, it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or Republican. You should be opposed to money in politics. And it doesn't just have to be the Koch brothers. It could be Soros, it could be anybody, it could be the unions, it could be corporations. I don't want any of them buying our politicians. I want our representatives to represent us. And that is what the good people in Montana want too. So we're going to get that money out of politics everywhere. Believe it. Wolf-pack.com. We're not only coming, we're already here. We're in Montana. Okay. I got myself pumped up. All right. Oh, we pass it in red states. No, sorry, when we pass it in red states. I'm not saying it. It's a beautiful thing to be on the right side of history. Okay, let's move forward. Now, how is this for a great battle? ISIS versus Anonymous. WWE Round 37. Right. So look, obviously there's serious issues involved here, and ISIS is a disaster, and they've done horrible things. And Anonymous fights back against everyone who is trying to oppress people, whether it's at times the U.S. government, or it's the Church of Scientology that they've fought against in the past, but now ISIS as well. I like that some reporters are surprised by this, like, ooh, Anonymous is on the side of the Americans. It's not a matter of being on the side of the Americans. It's a matter of those are clearly bad guys, and we're going to go help fighting against them. In fact, the slogan of Anonymous is, expect this. Now, here's the problem for ISIS. They didn't. So they've got all these social media accounts, and they think they're clever, and they're putting up videos of people getting burned alive, yada, yada. So here's what happened. As of Wednesday, many of the ISIS sites remained inaccessible or disabled after members of Anonymous launched denial of service attacks, flooding the pages with traffic. Many of the Twitter accounts appeared to be suspended. Well, I pretty much love this because, we've got our intelligence guys, so-called. How could you not trace a media account? They're spying in on us. I mean, we covered so many stories. They listen on phone sex of the troops in Iraq. In Britain, a great percentage of the pictures that they found when they spied in on British citizens were naked pictures. And the list goes on and on of all the private calls and videos and pictures that they've intercepted and listened to and viewed, right? What are you doing? You can't trace a simple account. Here's Anonymous saying, boy, this is really hard to shut these guys down. Boom. It's not just pressing a button. They should go through some semantics to do it, but it's fairly easy for Anonymous just sitting there to go, all their social media accounts, gone. Okay, now, of course, the U.S. government says, wait, you're impeding on our domain here. So they said, according to The Hill, this has led some foreign policy experts to criticize Anonymous's campaign on the grounds that it could hurt intelligence gathering. To which I ask, what intelligence gathering? Others question the effectiveness of the hacks because ISIS can easily revive web activities under new accounts. Well, you know what? And then Anonymous could also easily shut those down. So this could go on for a while. If we have a hacking war, if you're talking about machetes, then ISIS might have an advantage. If you're talking about computers, I can assure you Anonymous has the advantage, right? So now, look, is it possible that the U.S. intelligence agencies are trying to track those and actually get intelligence from them? I hope to God they are. But so far, we haven't seen great evidence of that. You remember the heroic story of how we traced, this social media account from Al-Qaeda or ISIS or other groups like the made-up Khorasan, yada, yada. We caught him. No, we didn't. We found a courier, a human being, to get Bin Laden, right? I've never seen any success. I know they're supposed to be secret, right? But whenever they have a big success, whether it's Bin Laden or anything else, they love to brag about it. All of a sudden, the CIA, the NSA is leaking all over the place, talking about how, look at us. They did a whole movie called Zero Dark 30 where they brag. It's a piece of propaganda, right? So I haven't seen them brag at all about how they trace the social media accounts. But all of a sudden, when Anonymous embarrasses them by doing it much better and easier and more efficient than the U.S. government, all of a sudden, goddamn Anonymous, what are you doing? You're getting in the way. We were just about to do that. I'm sure you were. Okay. And then I like this description in The Hill. The Hill's a fairly establishment press organization. I'm amused by it. They say, and yet, the increasingly savage displays by ISIS have also brought a certain heroic quality to Anonymous's efforts, even if the group is viewed as potentially dangerous. Like anything that counters the establishment and the American government hasn't put a stamp of approval on is seen as potentially dangerous. Now, we used to hate Anonymous, and this is kind of confusing us, but we kind of hate ISIS more. How to resolve this? All right, look, for us, it's incredibly simple. I get it. Anonymous fights against those who hold power and abuse it, whether that's the American government or, in the case of ISIS, the terrorists who are doing hideous things in the Middle East. Kudos. Job well done. Young Turks.
Whoa. Whoa. Friday, you ain't got no job, and you ain't got shit to do.
Alright, back on the Young Turks. Alright, now let's go to a hilarious story about Jim Inhofe. So Jim Inhofe, unfortunately, is a very important senator now that the Republicans have taken over the Senate, and he's got an agenda to push. In this case, he'd like to arm the Ukrainians against the Russians. Of course, being a Republican senator, he'd like more war, and he thinks that's the direction we should go. Well, what's going to help him, he thinks, is an exclusive that he's given to the Washington Free Beacon, which is a conservative paper, and it's about how the Russians have rolled in with their tanks into Ukraine. Now, look, the Russians are in Ukraine, and it's a matter of great dispute how much they're in Ukraine, how much is the Russian separatists versus the Russian government actually helping those separatists. So, Inhofe didn't really help the situation when he came in with this exclusive, as you're about to see. So, the Free Beacon reports that Inhofe said the first set of pictures that he's got show Russian troops in T-72 tanks, BTR armored personnel carriers, and BMP infantry fighting vehicles entering eastern Ukraine, waving Russian flags. This is not simply supporting separatists, it is an invasion of the Ukraine by Russia. And the second set of pictures, according to Inhofe, were taken by Ukrainian soldiers on the front line in eastern Ukraine. They got them, ladies and gentlemen. They have the pictures of the Russians with the tanks, and they're definitely in Ukraine. Alright, well, here's the problem. Long story reports, however, after Inhofe's office released the photos of the Washington Free Beacon to the Washington Free Beacon, a conservative website that promoted them as an exclusive, they were quickly debunked online as being file photos of Russian tanks and soldiers dating back as far as 2008. Really? Well, let's show you the pictures that Inhofe used, and then show you the pictures from 2008 and see if they match. So here's a picture that Inhofe handed the Washington Free Beacon. Ooh, Russian tanks rolling in. Okay, here they are. And then there's more of them right there. And then one more. That looks very scary. It's very clear. The Russians are coming into Ukraine. Now, let me show you the pictures of them going into Georgia from 2008. Let's see if we can find a difference. Wait a minute. That appears to be the same picture. And yeah, that would be the same picture. And give me one more. No, that was two more. Okay, anyways. Yeah, they're the same goddamn pictures. Okay, they just copied. Okay, that's what happened. So, now, why did you do this, and where did you get it from? Well, Senator Inhofe and his staff have an explanation. According to BuzzFeed, Inhofe's office told them that the photos, eventually published by the Washington Free Beacon, had come from a delegation including 2 first-year members of parliament, some academics, and some military officers. Okay, now, by the way, no senior members of the Ukrainian government. Just a couple of dudes come in, academics, I'm a senior military guy. All right, well, let's find out more specifics. It turns out that Inhofe actually has a name. Now, these photographs were given to me by Lieutenant Colonel Semenchenko, the commander of the Donbass Volunteer Assault Battalion, and newly elected member of the Parliament of Ukraine, during our meeting on 13th of November last year. If you say so, dude. Okay, now, why did Inhofe go in this direction? The photographs, the Beacon said, could help bolster the case on Capitol Hill for a new piece of legislation that would enable the United States to provide lethal military aid to the Ukrainians. Let's try to guess who the author of that piece of legislation is. Oh, right, Senator Inhofe. What a wonderful coincidence. Okay, so now he's got to try to explain himself because this is quite embarrassing, right? So he realizes, oops, I screwed up. So he comes in and says, the Ukrainian parliament members who gave us these photos in print form as if it came directly from a camera really did themselves a disservice. I was furious to learn one of the photos provided now appears to be falsified from an AP photo taken in 2008. So in other words, Inhofe saying, wasn't me, it was those goddamn Ukrainians who gave it to me, right? That Colonel Semenchenko, next time I get my hands on him. He goes on to say, though, this doesn't change the fact that there's plenty of evidence that Russia has made advances into the country with T-72 tanks, and that the pro-Russian separatists have been killing Ukrainians in cold blood. No, it kind of does change that fact. Like, there's fighting. There's no question about that. Well, people have been killed on all sides. But whether they rolled in with T-72 tanks is very much an open question, and you don't have evidence of it. Evidence you thought you had is fabricated. So, it does change that equation considerably. Okay. So, of course, after this happened, the internet decided to have a little bit of fun. So, here's a tweet of somebody put up more images from Senator Inhofe's intelligence on Russia. Oh my God, they're here! Okay. And finally, I'd like to go back to Senator Inhofe's source. Isn't this amazing? I mean, Republicans, they just make stuff up left and right. They don't bother to check their sources. He says his source was Lieutenant Colonel Semenchenko. And you believe the stuff he was spewing? Don't make me go Semenchenko on chain here. You really don't want to see that. Goofballs, man. They're all goofballs. All right. I got one last story for you. We're going to end on a serious note, and then we'll have Anna come in. Some serious analyte stories in the second hour, as usual. All right. Let's go to abortion. Yeah, that's a fun way to end the Friday hour. Okay. So, from time to time, Republicans say they're totally confused what Democrats are talking about when they say the war on women, or that Republicans have passed legislation taking rights away from women. Well, if they're confused, I can help clarify. Now, look, you might not agree that this is a war on women, but there's no question there's at least a war on reproductive rights, and it certainly affects women. So, let me give you the numbers. So, right now, as it stands, the Republicans won a tremendous amount of elections at the state level in the last set of elections in 2014. So, 69 out of the 99 state legislative chambers in the country are Republican controlled. That's amazing. And 31 out of the 50 governorships are held by Republicans. So what have they done with them? Well, as of last week, lawmakers have introduced more than 100 bills regulating abortion in more than half of all states, according to data from Henry J. Kaiser Family Foundation. So they are on the warpath on their issues abortion. So a sample of the bills introduced include those that would outlaw the most common second trimester termination method, require parental notification, and the permission of the father, require patients to watch an anti-choice video before they can undergo the procedure, require that providers have admitting privileges at nearby hospitals, and mandate that patients wait 72 hours before they are able to terminate. So a great plethora of bills passed all across the country, and they come into office immediately, guns blazing, trying to attack your reproductive rights in every way imaginable, right? In fact, here's another set of laws. Bills banning abortion after 20 weeks of pregnancy have also found success this year at the state level. Now, according to the law of the land set by the Supreme Court, you're supposed to be able to get an abortion in your second trimester. And the Republicans are trying to chip away at that. They're trying to chip away at this idea of women being able to choose what to do in case they are pregnant. Now, a lot of people agree with that. They don't think there's a war on women. There's a lot of women who think, I'm pro-life, and I love that they're trying to restrict reproductive rights. But here are things that you cannot argue. You can't say that Republicans haven't passed any laws against women's reproductive rights, because they most certainly have. And you can't argue that Republicans are in favor of a small government when they're inside your own. So there's no question that they would like to have a gigantic government get between you and your doctor and make choices for you. Now, you can argue that that's the right position. You just can't argue that that's small government. I'll give you one more fact. The Guttmacher Institute explains that states have enacted more than 230 restrictions on the procedure in just the last 4 years. This is not made up. It's not mythical. It's absolutely real. Now, when you talk about the so-called war on women, there are many other aspects to it, right? But when it comes to reproductive rights, it is absolutely clear. So don't be confused. If you vote for Republicans at the national and certainly at the state level, you will get your reproductive rights limited. Now, if you're comfortable with that, you're happy with that, and a lot of people are. That animates them. That makes them want to vote for Republicans. Have at it, cause. But don't think they're not going to do it, because they most certainly are. The minute they get into office, it's a top priority for them. So just know that you're signing off some of your reproductive rights the minute you vote for a Republican. Because that's stone cold reality. Young.
I don't even like dogs. That's the beauty of it. Grab a dog, I choke him, and I kick the shit out of him. And I all day long, I put up a dog dance. That bang, 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 up and dance. That's my pleasure.
Welcome back to the Young Turks. Anna and Jake with you. The setup is awkward.
You think so?
Yeah, it's weird.
Interesting. Well, there's comments about it, and I'll explain it in a second. So, Anna, as usual, I'll read some tweets here in the beginning of this hour. What do we got here? Yaw says, Rand Paul, no college degree. Ted Cruz, born in Canada, both supported for presidency, and Obama is an illegitimate president. Now, not only did they say Obama wasn't born in the country, remember that whole thing that Donald Trump cooked up, where he's like, oh, let me see his college degrees. Well, I'd like to see Rand Paul's college degree. Oh, sorry, he doesn't have one. Nope. Okay. But Obama's illegitimate. Anybody talking about how Rand Paul's illegitimate?
So he doesn't have any college degree?
He went to medical school.
Okay.
So he has a medical degree, but ironically, he doesn't have an undergrad.
How does that even...
Because he's from Kentucky.
Oh, okay.
Then I already did our undergrad degree here. They said, "Are you in college?" And I'm in a holler. No, yeah, we went to Baylor, and apparently he never finished, but he had a good enough MCAT score that Duke took him. What did he go to Duke in 1840? I don't understand this, man. Anyway, apparently that's how Duke worked back then. You didn't have to finish college. And back then, it was like in the 1980s. I'm amazed by it. Anyway, David Bizarro said, just finished Mad as Hell. I feel like I ripped TYT off, only paying £7 for it. Would have happily paid much more. Well, Andrew Napier is going to be really disappointed to hear that. We don't have anything to do with the movie in terms of production, cost, yada yada, money. So Andrew's a filmmaker. He's in right now going, I gotta charge more. Anyway, Eric Johnson says, looks like he had a long damn night last night. Get some Z's, homie. Referring to me.
Yeah.
I did not have a long night last night. This is an unprecedented second round of cold or whatever I had. Normally I cycle through, I start with a sore throat, and I go and I get the sneeze, the cough, la la la, right? And I went through one round, and then, whoa, here we go again. I started with a sore throat yesterday, right before the live show. And
so whatever you have, I'm now getting it.
Oh, really?
Which is great, because it's just in time for the 3-day weekend.
No,
really looking forward to that.
Yeah. Sorry. Your mama says...
My mom?
Could be. Maybe TYT is trying a smaller table to show more leg, i.e. Fox News business.
Lots of leg going on.
Yeah, look at Anna's skirt. Come on.
I'm wearing a very retro Mad Men type dress today.
You are. It is also the longest, most covered up skirt in American history. Okay. The Saudis would be proud of that skirt. We had to move the main desk to YouTube Space LA, where we're going to be doing the show for the next month. We are finally rebuilding the studio, and we're going to add a second studio B. Remember how, if you guys remember the fundraising that we did with you guys in Indiegogo, we said if we raised enough money, we'd do a studio B. We finally got our act together. We're about to do that, so that's why we're going to be away for a month, and then come back here when it's done. I'm sure it'll be done in a month. It's a construction project. Oh boy.
Done next year.
Okay, yeah, We'll see you in 2016, guys. All right. And then a bunch of other great tweets. Anyways, we gotta go. We'll time for this later. And let's get some awesome stories. Go.
All right. What do you do if there is absolutely no way to confirm your identification? There's no social security card, there's no birth certificate, and the feds refuse to work with you because you have absolutely no identification documentation. Well, that's what Alicia Pennington is dealing with right now. She's an 18-year-old from Texas. She claims she was born in the United States. However, she was born in her parents' home. While she claims that she was born on November 26, 1995, there is no actual proof of her age or identity when it comes to the United States government. So let me give you the backstory on this. Apparently, she was born to two extremely Christian parents, and they have her in the comfort of their own home with a midwife. Now, she claims, and it seems to be confirmed, that her parents did not file for a birth certificate or a social security number after she was born in their home. So as a result, the government doesn't have any documentation on her. They don't even recognize that she exists. So she actually left the custody of her parents with the help of her grandparents. I don't know why that's the case. At this very point, that information has not been disclosed. But it seems as though she's estranged from her parents, and she claims that even though she's asked them for help in order to confirm her identity, they have refused to do so. Here's some more according to the Christian Science Monitor. Miss Pennington, who says she's now 19, has launched a campaign via YouTube and Facebook called Help Me Prove It. In the video, she explains her strange circumstance. She was born at home, after which her parents neglected to file for a birth certificate or social security number. She was homeschooled and therefore no school records. In fact, she has never been to a hospital and is without medical records. Furthermore, she says that her parents have been refusing to help her. So this story sounds like it could be plausible, and I'm inclined to believe her side of the story. But how do you live 19 years and never go to a hospital? That's kind of impressive.
Yeah.
And unbelievable, if you ask me.
You know what her real name is, right? Marta Rodriguez. I am Alicia Pennington. I have no record. I just happen to be in Texas, right next to Mexico. Trust me. Of course, there's kind of something cool, though, about how off the grid she is.
No, there's nothing cool about it. She can't vote. She can't drive. She can't get a license.
I know, but she's off the grid, man. They'll never get her. Yeah, I mean, when we're in the woods, and I'm there with my right-wing brothers, and thinking, thank God for the Second Amendment rights. Yeah. We got Alicia as our secret weapon.
Right.
They'll never find her, man.
You also can't work, right?
I know, but she's got. Yeah. What if we had to be in the woods?
Living on the streets with no identification is awesome.
You're right.
Not that she's living on the streets, by the way. I don't want you guys to get the wrong idea, but no, this is disastrous. Now, she claims that her parents are refusing to help her, and I love it. She, of course, solicited help from people online, and this became one of the more popular stories on Reddit. And then, of course, you have these masterminds who start investigating her life, and they find out that her mom is actually a Christian blogger. Okay, and her...
Really?
Yeah.
She can't bother to get a social security number for her daughter, but she blogs?
I know, it's kind of amazing. In fact, let's go ahead and fast forward to a piece of her mother's blog. She says the following. To our knowledge, this is graphic number 5A. To our knowledge, there was a birth certificate filed. The midwives told us you have to file a birth certificate, and as far as we know, there was one filed. We do not know what information was put on it, and we do not have any copies of that, because you didn't file a birth certificate, lady. We are unaware of what was filed when she was born, but we have no interest in holding anything back from her, and we know you can get a delayed birth certificate, which would be a great option for her. We want every opportunity for her. We have offered over and over to help her, and she has not responded or accepted that help. Not buying it, and she has attempted to get a delayed birth certificate. In fact, let's go to graphic number 3. Pennington says she received a certified letter from the Texas Department of State Health Services dated October 1st, 2014. It's actually posted online. I took a look at it. And it informed her that after a thorough search, no record of her birth could be found. The TCSHFS informed her that she should apply for a delayed birth certificate. However, she's not allowed before a judge. She needs to go before a judge in order to do that, unless she has 3 documents verifying her age and citizenship, which of course she does not have.
Well, that seems to be kind of a catch-22. All right, we're going to verify you and finally give you documents as soon as you show me 3 documents verified. Okay, wait, how do I win that challenge? So this is a bit of a disaster. You know that things have gone awry when the mom's like, well, I thought the midwife handled the birth certificate.
Yeah, we don't.
That's not what midwives do. That's a ridiculous proposition.
We don't have copies of it, and we don't know what was put on it. Here's the thing. Usually when you're a parent, you know what's placed on a birth certificate. Like, I don't know your kid's name.
I'm just thankful they didn't misplace her. They're like, wait, where'd the kid go?
This is a disaster. But also, think about how difficult it is to deal with federal bureaucracy as it is. But this is like a whole new level, right? Like, who do you talk to? What do you do? And it's crazy because, I mean, she would be completely helpless if it weren't for the internet. So she, of course, asked for help. And, of course, there are the people who are investigating her personal life, understandably so. But then now there is a lawyer who's agreeing to work with her pro bono. So pro bono is always an interesting phrase, if you ask me. But that's a good thing. So hopefully she will get her identity verified and she can live a normal life like all of us do.
Yeah, it's a funny thing to have to prove your existence. Your Honor, I assure you that I actually do exist.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you say so, but unless you bring in 3 documents, I'm not really buying it.
You know, we take a lot of things for granted. Like having a name. That's verified.
Yeah.
Being able to vote.
Yeah.
Being able to drive a car.
Well, J.R. Jackson didn't have a name that was verified for a long time, according to Twitter.
Damn.
Still holding a grudge against Twitter that they verified Jesus about 7 years before they verified him.
Why was that? It's funny because Jesus is like never even on camera. JR is like definitely. Well, it's true. Jesus doesn't want to speak up. Come on, speak up. Well, that's Pete.
Okay. See? Which kind of proves your point.
Absolutely.
And have you ever really asked for Jesus' birth certificate?
I haven't.
Does he really exist?
I haven't even seen the long form birth certificate.
Look, I contend that Jesus never actually existed.
All right, moving on. Facebook is finally dealing with the question of what happens to your social networking site after you pass away. In fact, they have changed the settings on Facebook so you can name someone known as your legacy contact. So who the hell is your legacy contact? Basically an individual, either a friend or family member, who manages your Facebook account after you pass away. Now, what does this legacy contact entail? Well, that individual can change the dead person's profile picture and cover photo. Also, write a special post that will be pinned to the top of his or her timeline. Example could be a memorial service announcement. Also, accept friend requests from real-life friends and family who weren't connected to the deceased on Facebook. So what can't it do? All right. The contact will not, however, be able to view or download the deceased messages. Legacy contacts also won't have the power to edit or delete posts that the deceased has shared in the past or posts that others have shared on his or her timeline, which makes all the sense in the world. Facebook is saying, look, just because someone has passed away doesn't mean that this beneficiary of this person's Facebook account has the ability to read his or her personal messages. And I respect them for doing that. But it is kind of interesting because the internet hasn't been around that long. So now all of a sudden you're having people who pass away and they have Twitter accounts, Facebook accounts that just will remain there forever untouched.
I can't imagine anything I would care less about than my Twitter account after I have already died.
Right.
Okay. Now, I'm agnostic. I believe that once you die, lights out. Okay. Gone. No Twitter. Not even any Instagram. Okay. Now, having said that, I get why you would want your Facebook account and some other accounts to stay around. It's for your loved ones, not for you, right? You're already gone. And they might want to look back at those pictures, etc. I think this makes all the sense. I've never heard anything more logical than this in my life. Because, one, if you want somebody to just say, okay, look, this is what happened, he passed away, so that everybody's aware. But you don't want to get post-mortem dramas when the person goes in, it's their wife or whatever, sees some messages, and then all of a sudden you're catching feelings when the guy's already passed away.
Yeah.
You see, or it could be the other way.
Yeah, the drama would be unnecessary and depressing. But the one thing that I thought was really interesting is, unfortunately, there are a few people that I've known in my lifetime that have passed away. They had social media accounts, and it's crazy to go back and look at them and see what the last thing they posted was.
Yeah.
Like Michael Hastings, for instance. Like, his Twitter account is there. And it's trippy. Like, every once in a while, I don't know how I come across it, but I'll, look at it and I'm like, wow, that was his last tweet. I don't remember what it was. But it's kind of crazy to know that you have, this online presence after you pass away.
It's like when we were looking at the tape, unfortunately, of Eric Garner in the chokehold the other night, when the New York cops put him in that chokehold and he passed away.
His last moments of his life.
Yeah, and you didn't know that was going to be your last minute on Earth. You didn't know that was going to be your last tweet or your last Facebook post. And it's a little haunting, but I think it's a lot better than just eviscerating the accounts and they no longer exist.
I agree. Another thing that I was thinking about is one day we're going to die, obviously, and
You think so?
There are going to be thousands and thousands of YouTube videos of us either saying smart things or really dumb things.
And they were, what we're doing live echoes in eternity.
Yeah, I mean, essentially it does.
What we're doing live echoes in YouTube. So yeah, they'll be around, presumably, when we pass away. If YouTube's still around, they'll be around. That's right. For better or for worse.
All right. Moving on to something a little more serious.
I thought that was pretty serious. It involved a lot of death.
We're going to talk about solitary confinement.
Oh, okay, all right.
All right. South Carolina does not mess around when it comes to dealing with prisoners and their use of Facebook. In fact, if a prisoner is caught using Facebook or even caught having a family member update his or her status, that inmate could face some serious punishment within prison, like, solitary confinement. So, according to Slate, there are a number of inmates in South Carolina right now that are dealing with solitary confinement because they had the audacity to ask their family members to update their Facebook statuses. The South Carolina Department of Corrections made creating and or assisting with a social networking site a level 1 offense in 2012. According to this rule, inmates commit a level 1 violation every day that they access a social network, even if they do not do so even if they do so indirectly, by, for instance, asking a family member to update their status. So, in one extreme case, one inmate actually received a sentence of 37, not days, not weeks, not months, but 37 years in isolation for repeated Facebook usage. Kind of showing you the punitive nature of everything in this country.
Yeah. No, we abuse isolation to no end. It's supposed to be for extreme cases. Look, humans are social animals. If putting them in isolation is a really severe act.
It leads to severe psychological issues. I mean, to put someone in isolation for 1 week is serious. To put someone in isolation for 37 years, I mean, how do you make an argument that that is not cruel and unusual punishment?
Nelson Mandela got less time in isolation, and he was trying to topple the South African government. Obviously for good reason. And it's almost worse than a death sentence. And for what? For Facebook postings? Because he updated his status on Facebook? No, it shows you how incredibly flippant we are now. Like, what's the big deal? Prisoners aren't human beings anyway. We do whatever the hell we like with them. And, they came in here for a little offense, a major offense. Who cares? They looked at me the wrong way. Isolation. They did a Facebook posting, isolation. They didn't even do the Facebook post. They called someone and somebody updated their status to in prison. Now they're going to have to update it to in isolation, right? And then they'll get more time for that.
Yeah.
And this is beyond insanity.
It is beyond insanity. Look, isolation is supposed to be utilized for inmates who pose a risk to other inmates. Should it be used for punishment time to time for possible violent offenses within a prison? Yes, I think that it should be. But it shouldn't be abused the way that it's being abused now. We're putting inmates in isolation for stupid things like Facebook posts, but it's one thing to put them in there for like a day or two. It's another thing to put them in there for decades. 37 years?
There are many legitimate bodies in the world who believe that if you put somebody in solitary confinement for long enough, that it qualifies as torture.
Yeah.
Right? So to torture somebody for 37 years because they posted on Facebook too much while in prison. I mean, look, They're not even saying, "Hey, he posted on Facebook. Remember to rob the bank at 1:00." There's no like. It's not like some sort of secret code where they're communicating with the people outside and they're committing some sort of crime. No, it's just simple updates to their Facebook account.
Yeah.
Come on, man. It appears there are no bounds to how inhumane we can be.
Right, and imagine what we get sent to prison for these days. A lot of times it is for a nonviolent offense, like a drug offense or something. So you go there, and then you meet with a family member and ask them to post a Facebook status. You get caught, and boom, that's it. Solitary confinement. It's crazy. And that's the reason why we have such a high recidivism rate. That's the reason why we don't rehabilitate anyone in this country, or very few people in this country. It's all punitive. It's not about rehabilitation. We treat people like they're animals, and that's it. It doesn't really solve any problems. It just makes situations worse. I haven't even been alive for 37 years. That blows me away.
No. Look, we've lost touch with our humanity, man. Everybody in this country now, of course not everybody, but I'm saying legislators, people who make these decisions, they don't care anymore. They just don't care. Like, it used to be like that it was a big deal to, take significant action against people. Now they're like, oh, who cares, man? Solitary confinement. You want to keep them in prison for this and that. We put them in prison for drugs. Some people are away for life for drugs. This used to be a big deal. Now, once you enter the system, you're fucked. You're not human anymore. Dude, man, it's fucking brutal, man. It really is. You will lose your mind in solitary confinement.
Yeah.
And to do it over the most minor things I've ever heard of, it's crazy.
All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, the Pope has very harsh words for you if you don't have children.
You ain't got no sugar? Damn. Y'all ain't never got two things that match. Either y'all got Kool-Aid, no sugar, peanut butter, no jelly, ham, no burger. Damn.
Alright, back on the Young Turks. Okay, I got some good tweets for you, Anna. Lucy's got the last one for the first hour. So wait, the government tries to touch gun rights. It's big government. Government tries to take away vagina rights, and it's the greatest thing ever.
Yep.
Isn't that interesting? The government protects your gun more than it protects your vajayjay.
Right.
Tom Zawacki says, only reason Anna Kasparian is wearing a long dress today is because she's sick of Jen Hicks spitting on her shoes.
Oh, I was wondering what that was. Yeah, that's a good point. Oh my god, if I ever got spit on my shoes, I would not be amused.
Kat Gibbons says, OMG, Anna, you're stunning in that dress. Adores.
Aw, thank you.
Okay, alright. I'm all the way down to, where am I? I'm down to Elliot Lewis. Pro Bono was my porn alias for a while, but there were some payment problems.
What? Anyway, I'm not going to ask any questions.
Bertha C says, I love Jank's sense of humor. Oh, Bertha. Alright, love that. Thank you. No More Donations says, JR's name needs to be verified because Dr. James Manning kept calling him JR. That's what was holding Twitter up.
Yeah.
Wait, is it JR Jackson or JR Jackson? Good point, No More Donations. And finally, let's go to Tom Zawacki. No, I already went to Tom Zawacki. Lucy. No, I already went to Lucy. So apparently I'm done. Yep, okay. So, members of the day. Joshua Nielsen is member number 2307. Help us out with the ratings, okay? Okay.
Wow.
All right. Member number 505 is Jordan Gebauer. That's a fun name, too.
Is it Gabor?
No, it's Gebauer.
Okay.
And this episode of 24, Jack Gebauer. Anyway, Jordan Gebauer and Joshua Nielsen, thank you guys for being members. You know what? Yesterday we were doing YouTube Space LA, and we had a live show. We couldn't do a post game, and today I've decided we will do a post game to make up for it. Am I not merciful? Okay, it'll be a quick and easy one, but it'll be fun for everybody. I had a really good topic, I forgot it, but I'll remember it before we start. All right. Oh.
I want to address that.
Joe Ross. Okay. All right. Yes. Okay. This is a really good post game topic. Okay. Apparently, we made Willow Smith cry. Okay. Will Smith spoke out against it. Will Smith versus the Young Turks in the post game. I'm not kidding. It happened.
No, not Will Smith versus the Young Turks in the post game.
Yeah.
Maybe Will Smith versus you, but I feel terrible.
No, I will crush. I'm kidding. We'll hash it out.
Look, in the post game show, you guys will understand why the two of us are actually terrible people that deserve bad things.
Agree to disagree. Okay, we'll hash it out in the post game. All right, let's. Hey, membership has to go. So we'll talk to you guys if you're a member in the post game. All right, next.
All right. Remember a few weeks ago when the Pope said that people should stop procreating like rabbits? Well, it seems like he's backpedaled a little bit when it comes to that, and he has something to say to all those couples out there who are abstaining from having children. So he was speaking at St. Peter's Square, and he says that couples who opt not to have children are being, quote, selfish, as he spoke of a greedy generation that's choosing not to procreate. So exactly what was his exact statement? Well, here's what he has to say to you, you greedy little millennials. A society with a greedy generation that doesn't want to surround itself with children, that considers them above all worrisome, a weight, a risk, is a depressed society. The choice to not have children is selfish. Life rejuvenates and acquires energy when it multiplies. It is enriched, not impoverished. I don't have children. I'm feeling pretty damn good. There's no depression yet.
Damn, Annika Sperry versus the Pope. It's on.
No, just relax, dude. They're not.
He's the Pope. He's not supposed to be relaxed. He's supposed to set rules and regulations. His job is to say, this is how you live your life.
Okay, I know.
And if you don't, you'll be depressed and worse yet, eventually in hell. Relax, dude.
Look, we have enough babies running around, right? I like kids. I like tacos. Right? There's nothing wrong with kids. But some people just don't want to have kids. Maybe they're not suited to have children. Maybe they want to enjoy their lives without the interference of people like you telling them that they're being selfish. You know what's selfish? Forcing other people to have kids because that's what you think is the right thing to do. Yeah. That's kind of selfish.
Flip side is, again, the Pope is supposed to interfere in your life. In fact, if I had to do a power ranking of people who are supposed to interfere in your life, Pope would probably be number one. The Grand Ayatollah would be number two.
Right.
Okay, these are people whose job it is to tell you how to live your life. Now, Chris, that's part of why we don't believe in that, right? And now the Pope has had a lot of positive messages, this Pope has, Pope Francis, and bless his heart for that. We happen to disagree with this message. Now, I got kids. I love my kids. I actually think it's the exact opposite of what the Pope is saying. It's selfish to have kids.
Right, because you're trying to, have someone carry your legacy, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's one way to look at it. I didn't necessarily look at it that way, but the thing that convinced me to have kids is my wife made a great point. She said, look, Jake, you like to enjoy life, right? Yeah. You like to suck the marrow of life, which is an unfortunate thing.
Suck the marrow of life?
Yes. So she said, now, what's the number one life experience? It's to have kids.
Is it?
Yeah, I think it is. Okay. It turns out she was right. Now, it doesn't mean you need to have kids. No. There's 1,000 different life experiences. You don't necessarily need that one. But it is an amazing one. I mean, the bond that you have, the love that you have, etc. But the kid didn't ask for it. You made that decision, and you made it so that you can feel good about it, so you can have that life experience, so you can share that love, the bond, etc. Or maybe carry on your legacy, or maybe have somebody there, to help you later in life, etc. You get joy out of it. Yeah. So I actually think it's a fundamentally selfish decision.
Yeah. So
I disagree with the Pope on that count. I'm not hurt that he's laying down edicts that I might not agree with at par for the course. But there is one more final irony here, which is the Pope doesn't have kids. So I hear you, brother, but, glass houses, glass Vaticans, and all that.
He's exempt from that. I mean, he's the one person in the world who gets the job title of judging others without having to worry about others judging him.
Yeah.
Do you, boo?
And he's saying, listen, I hear you on my hypocrisy. The flip side is, I just talked to God. And this is what he told.
Yeah.
I feel like he very loyally prepared for that. In the statement, I think, he said something like married couples are being selfish by not having kids.
Yeah, I don't think he wants people to have kids out of wedlock.
But that's the thing. So that's one of those barriers put up where, well, what about you, Bob? You don't need kids. I'm not married, dude. I'm not married.
Yeah.
So I'm married couples.
Catholics are going to get all over us now. The clergy is not supposed to get married. Of course we know that. Okay. But, and I know that he's trying to encourage people to have more kids as you're supposed to in Catholic doctrine. I understand all that. Nonetheless, since we don't believe in that doctrine, we just like to generally tell the Pope to butt out on it.
I know, and I just like how you gotta strike that balance so the Pope's happy with you, right? So don't have sex and children like rabbits, okay? Don't have too many kids, but don't opt out of having kids. It has to be the right number. But he hasn't been specific. What's the right number? Is it 1 kid? Is it 2 kids? Is it 3 kids? I don't know. He's Catholic. Is it 5 kids? I don't know. I don't know. What's the right balance?
Yeah.
Let me know.
Okay, well, and you're right. There's this weird balancing line. Until you get married, don't do it, don't have any sex. No, hold up. And then after you get married. Okay, I mean, go ballistic. Don't let her up for a minute. Okay, go again and again and again.
I know that we've talked about this on the show multiple times, but just everybody take a second to really think about it, okay? Not having sex before marriage, and then marrying the person and having sex with them for the first time ever when you're already trapped in a marriage.
Already trapped in
I mean, but think about that for a second.
Yeah.
Think about the ramifications, right? You might be lucky.
You have only a second to think about it. You have any idea how quick you'd go?
Oh my God.
Dude, you're a grown. I got married at 38. Can you imagine that's my first orgasm? Oh, what a disaster! When you want to talk about.
The second you walk into the honeymoon suite, it's you're done. You didn't even touch her yet. You just thought about it.
That might be my favorite soundboard effect for sex. It's a weird visual you get from that.
All right.
Speaking of penises, we go to our next one.
Yes. A 17-year-old is the first person in the United States and probably the world to have a penis reduction surgery, and it's for a very serious reason. Now, apparently he had a condition where he had blockages in the penis's blood vessels, and as a result, it would swell considerably, especially when he was flaccid. Now, his penis was nearly 7 inches long. However, it was 10 inches around, meaning 10 inches in circumference. In its flaccid state, growing harder but not longer during erections. So this made his life extremely difficult. Okay, he couldn't have sex. He also couldn't wear normal clothing because you would see this huge football-shaped thing bulging out of his pants. And it was uncomfortable, it was painful, and so he finally decided to do this surgery that had never been done before. So he went to a urologist, and here's what the urologist had to say. There comes a time in every urologist's career that a patient makes a request so rare and impossible to comprehend that all training breaks down and leaves the physician speechless. That question was, can you make my penis smaller? So after he did the surgery, thankfully, it worked out fine. His penis is in a better condition now. Apparently, he's a little larger than average. But according to the doctor, it looks cosmetically appealing, and he said it was a life-changing event. He's all smiles.
Good for him. I know people who've had breast reduction surgery, and if your breasts are incredibly large, they have a lot of different effects. Your back hurts, it's tough to exercise, etc. And I know for incredibly large penises, it also weighs you down a little bit. It's hard when you jog, and you got to wrap it up and stuff. So I feel his pain.
Conversation with my boyfriend about that.
I don't know who's more unbearable, you or me. Anyway, this poor kid, obviously he was suffering, and we're trying to make light of this situation when the guy's cock was too large, and he had to get it under control.
Yeah. It wasn't even necessarily that it was too large. I mean, he had blockages in his blood vessels, so it would just swell with blood. And so they somehow managed to do this, or do the surgery, and it had never been done before. So there's the X-ray. I'm glad that we have it to show you guys what it looked like. That looks terrible.
Oh, see. Okay.
What do you mean that is?
That's unnaturally large?
Yeah.
I think the most, again, The kid probably doesn't think it's very comical as we laugh. But of that X-ray, the fact that they put a big red arrow saying, "Here is the big balloon penis," like we can see it do that. I think we know which one is the problem here.
I'm going to ask you guys the type of question I would ask on the point. Okay.
Uh-oh.
All right.
It's about to get personal up in here.
What the hell is the point?
In the studio, as you guys know, and
Game
so
of
you have
Truth or Dare right now.
you have one of two options. Okay. It's like a game of truth or dare, except we focus solely on the truth, and there's no
There's no
dare.
dare at all.
There's no chicks kissing.
That's the only difference between truth and the point. Okay. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
All right. Okay, you have the option of having this football-sized penis, okay, or a smaller than average penis. Like by smaller than average, I'm gonna go with 3.5 inches.
I'll keep what I have. Football shape.
Oh my God! Get out of here! Get out! Come on! No, answer the question seriously, Jane.
Okay.
Think about it. If you have a penis that's 10 inches in circumference.
In circumference.
Okay? You're not, no one's gonna want that, okay? No one wants that.
Agree to disagree. I've got fun. No, I don't know, man. 10 inches, it's hard to visualize 10 inches around. It would be hard to get it in places. God, it's painful, but I think you're going to have to go 3.5.
Yeah, I think so
because
too.
you might not be able to, literally might not be able to do anything with the football.
Look, I'm the woman in this conversation, right? I have no interest in something that's 10 inches in circumference. None.
Mm-hmm.
You have no chance.
Yeah.
I mean, some women might be into it, but I think most women would be
Yeah,
scared.
guys overemphasize the penis size.
They really do.
Yeah, I mean, look, man, it's how you swing. It's okay. Don't. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Yeah.
Show me what you're working with.
Show me what you work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's how confident.
Yeah.
So we all agree we're all voting against football-sized penis? Easy decision.
Yeah.
All right. That was easy. Okay.
And by the way, there's nothing wrong with the 3.5 inch penis. I don't want anyone to think that I'm like dissing them or anything. Huh?
She wants
I would go with 3.5. 100%. All right, moving on.
Okay.
There is a dark side of plastic surgery in Thailand that hasn't been covered until now. The BBC did a really great job in talking about how the lack of regulations in Thailand has led to a number of serious injuries and also death when it comes to plastic surgery. Now, a lot of people, thousands of people, flock to Thailand on a regular basis in order to get plastic surgery procedures because it's a very competitive market. In fact, according to the BBC, the prices are typically a third of what they cost in Europe or the United States. The medical facilities are often first class, and Thai doctors have developed specialist expertise in some cosmetic procedures. But as I mentioned earlier, in some cases it doesn't end so well. We have a video explaining why. Let's take a look.
Last October, a British woman, Joy Williams, died under anaesthetic at this Bangkok clinic. Her doctor, Sompong Sansiri, was arrested and charged. It turned out he didn't have a license to carry out surgery. Today, his clinic has been closed down. But that hasn't stopped him from practicing.
There are literally hundreds of clinics like this one across Bangkok offering all different kinds of cosmetic surgery, and mostly they're pretty good. But the regulations are a different matter. For example, the staff at this clinic have told us that the same doctor who's been charged with the death of Joy Williams is still practicing here today.
So this doctor shut down his clinic after that woman died, and then he just went to a different clinic and started doing the same thing again. Now, it's difficult because in a lot of cases it's hard to prosecute doctors for negligence in Thailand. In fact, police have little medical expertise, and they're usually the ones that people go to whenever they feel that malpractice has occurred. So they rely on Thai Medical Council, or the Thai Medical Council, for advice on whether or not to prosecute. But the council is made up of representatives of the medical industry with arguably little incentive to expose wrongdoing by their colleagues. So there's that issue, and there's also the issue of lack of regulation. And when you have a lack of regulation, people are going to do things inappropriately. They're going to cut corners, and you don't want to cut corners when it comes to something like plastic surgery.
No, I think the libertarians have this right. You see, after you pass away from a botched plastic surgery, then you'll know not to go to that doctor anymore. Actually, the market fixes itself.
It really does.
Yeah, you see that? And then other people will know not to go to Thailand anymore, except they keep going anyway. Huh, interesting. So, look, here's one thing I don't want to skip on, which is medical procedures. And so I mean, I get it, I guess, because people are desperate and they're obsessed with their bodies and wanting to quote unquote fix things to look better, etc. And a lot of people don't have the money, so that's why they're doing this. But sometimes it's literally killing you. And the idea of paying less to do a procedure like that is a devastatingly bad idea.
It really is.
I mean, if somebody said to me, "Hey, why don't we go to a foreign country and then you can get that medical procedure done?" I'd be like, I mean, it depends. I mean, maybe it's a foreign country that does it better, right? But when you have lack of regulation, that's when you have trouble, because there's a point to regulation,
right,
to keep things safe.
So I was actually talking to Steve-O about this, and he talked about how, in places like South Korea, the plastic surgery market is booming. And, the doctors there are known for the plastic surgery because so many people get certain procedures on a regular basis. So, and they focus on a specific thing. So here in the U.S., usually you'll have a plastic surgeon that can do a lot of different procedures, whether it's breast reduction, breast enhancement, nose job, lips, whatever. In South Korea, he said that a lot of people are experts in one particular thing. So if you want to get a good nose job, you go to one specific doctor. But even that, I mean, I would feel a little unsafe, unsure, uncomfortable. I'm not saying that the doctors are the best here in the United States, but at least you can do more research, you can talk to them, you can consult with them before you make your decision, and you want to be as well-informed and as educated about it as possible before you actually undergo the procedure. And one final thing, I do understand that a lot of people travel to other countries to get necessary medical procedures, because a lot of those procedures are expensive here in the States. But that's something that people do out of desperation. When it comes to a plastic surgery procedure that just has to do with aesthetics, just think about how much of a risk it is. It is invasive. It's not a simple thing. So just be careful. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I once went to Turkey to get a dental procedure. Maybe that's what scarred me.
Yeah.
In the middle of the root canal, which was a very complicated one, actually. And it was actually, I'm sorry, it wasn't a root canal. Brian Williams said. It was, I was getting one of my wisdom teeth removed, and it was hard to get it out. It was crooked. And the electricity went out.
Oh.
And then, so here's what happened. It was two dental students. The story only gets better. And they went, "Oh no, the power went out. We're going to have to use another machine, but it's a little medieval." I was like, "Oh, great. I can't wait to have dental surgery in Turkey where it gets a little medieval." And then in the middle of doing that, the second thing, at one point they both looked in my mouth and went, "Oh, no." So, I don't know if it's jingoistic, whatever it might be, but I'm going to keep all my surgeries here in the U.S. going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, dental work is serious. And dental work is ridiculously expensive, by the way.
Yeah, no, why do you think I went to Turkey?
Yeah.
You think the Dogen, my dad, was going to pay for dental surgery in America? He's like, "No, I have a great friend who will do it for you in Turkey. A little medieval, but it's okay. It's okay. You're going to be all right." And then after they went, "Oh, no. They were like, no, it'll be fine.
Everything's great.
Yeah, no. I'm sure it'll turn out fine eventually." Yeah. At least, hey, I survived. I'm missing 7 teeth, but that's okay.
All right. One final story for you guys. You want to keep going?
Yes.
All right. Colorado is currently trying to find a smart way to reform their education, their public education specifically. And one of their great ideas that has been proposed, but it has not been approved yet, is to get rid of some of the subjects that are unnecessary. Sometimes it feels as though students are wasting their times with subjects that aren't going to be useful in their day-to-day lives. So the two subjects that they're focusing on getting rid of, possibly, include social studies and science.
Jesus Christ, man, we've hit the bottom of the barrel.
We really have.
I mean, we're not, I remember when my high school got rid of humanities. It was actually the year after I left when they told me about it. Humanities was my favorite course, and we learned about Socrates, we learned, we read Thoreau, we did all these fascinating things. It was one of the best learning experiences I had. And I was devastated they were taken away, because I thought I went to a great public high school, they were taking something away from the future generation. But it's a whole different thing when you take science away.
Right.
Science, social studies. Jesus, what's left?
It blows my mind that anyone would think this is a good idea. Now, again, you guys have to pay attention to the caveat because it's important. This hasn't been approved. This was one of the many proposals that they're working through in the process of reforming their public education there. So it is entirely possible that they won't go through with this very, very terrible idea. But what they're trying to do is find like a uniform curriculum for the entire state, because the way Colorado does things with their public education is kind of different from other states. In fact, according to the Denver Post, Colorado is the only state whose constitution puts control of curriculum entirely with local districts. So they're like, okay, so what can we do to make it more uniform? It'll be easier to kind of keep track of these students. Oh, we know we can get rid of certain subjects. Now, part of the rationale behind that is we want to get them prepared for college, and if they want to get into a good college, they're not going to get tested on social studies and science. They're going to get tested on math and English. In fact, again, according to the Denver Post, support exists to remove competency in science and social studies as a condition of high school graduation. The rationale, state law requires the guidelines align with state college admissions requirements, which cover only math and English. Who cares if that's all they cover? Just because you get tested in only math and English before you go to college doesn't mean that all the other subjects don't matter. Science is incredibly important.
So this is teaching to the test on steroids. And the problem is when you set up incentives, people get obsessed by those incentives. And so for a long time in this country, we've been judging teachers and schools by how well the kids do in tests. They've now become so obsessed with those tests, they're basically saying, in this particular case, everything else be damned. We don't care how important it is. We're not really trying to educate your kids. We're just trying to, get a better grade for ourselves so that we get more funding, we protect our jobs, and all the things that go along with that. So it's a disastrous development. I thought for a second that might be political, If you're fundamentalist, and by the way, some parts of Colorado are incredibly fundamentalist, well, then you're pretty happy to take away science. Science, evolution, So I don't know if that's the case here. It appears mainly to be just obsessed about the test.
Yes, that is the case. They're obsessed with getting these students prepared to go to college, and so they're like, all right, what can we do to focus more on math and English so they can pass these tests and get into a four-year institution? The proposed reductions in cut scores, including the AP and IB, stem from the group's conclusion that the bar should be college readiness, not success.
Isn't that amazing?
What the hell kind of education system says our prerogative is not success? It's all about getting into college. That doesn't mean that you're successful. Success is important.
Yeah, no, not to them, because that doesn't affect their job.
It's amazing.
So that's them saying, I don't care about the students at all. All I care about is the metrics that people use to judge me as an administrator. It's really gross.
It is. It's sad to know that public education is dissolving into what it is now. And hopefully this proposal doesn't pass. The Denver Post did speak to some officials within the state, and they're like, well, it was just a proposal. We don't know if we're actually going to go through with it. And hopefully they don't go through with it. Science is incredibly important. Even if someone doesn't want to be a scientist, look, I know from personal experience, not knowing as much as I should in science has held me back from a lot of things, right? Especially with this job. And so if you take that away from students, I mean, who knows? Someone could want to be an astrophysicist. Someone might want to be a biologist or a chemist or something like that. And you're taking that opportunity away from them.
But it's okay. You caught up now because you watched Neil deGrasse Tyson. So
yeah, I went to his lecture, so now I'm like genius.
Now, look, I didn't enjoy science, and I'm 1,000% in favor of science. But you get me to try to figure out physics, and I'm like, come again, right? But I'm glad I went through it. I mean, that's called an education.
Yeah.
And if you're not good at it, sad day for you. That's just part of life. You still need to know the basics. Okay. But I like how now everybody who I disagree with gets the spittoon treatment. They're from Colorado. They're not from the South. All right, guys. All right. We need you to have an awesome weekend. For those of you who are members, we're going to tell you about all the drama. The Smith family, Will Smith versus the Young Turks.
Yep.
Why Anna's devastated by what has happened. All that drama. And of course, by the way, if you don't know, membership is at TYTnetwork.com. TYTnetwork.com. And The Weekend is an excellent time to watch Mad as Hell. That's the movie about us. And you could buy it through madashellfilm.com. Madashellfilm.com. All right. Bye-bye.